So, we've talked about so many great topics in the earlier part of the program. So what we're going to move into is, as we're previously designing our tomorrow, we're now going into financial wellness and building a legacy. Wow, I didn't even realize that that part was there, building legacy. See how I did that? So we're going to move into that with specialists in this particular field. The first person being Marcella Williams. I'm going to have her come up. Yes! Okay, ladies, come on. Level up. Go ahead. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Yes, I love it. Okay, so I see the audience has a little bit more energy. I'm gonna give y'all 2 points for that one, okay? So the next person I'm bringing up is Miss Andrea Jackson. Yes. Yeah, it's okay. Give us a slow and steady.
Natives, I know y'all better represent, cause I know y'all hit that pocket. What? Oh, I thought I lost, but actually I won. When I tell you that, just do something to me. Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to hold the mic yet, but it's no failure. My God could never lose. Oh, I can't do what she did. No. I got the victory.
Thank you. Woo! That was empowering. Have my spirits up, guys. All right, so as I shared earlier, we have Miss Marcella Williams, and then we also have Miss Andrea Jackson, which are both going to be talking about financial wellness and building legacy. Each of these ladies have their own segment on how they're going to demonstrate their configuration of how to do so. First one being is Miss Marcella. She's going to be talking about how to remain fit in the financial world.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This has been so amazing. Hasn't this been such a great event, a great morning, great afternoon? It's been a huge blessing. Again, my name is Marcella Mullen Williams. I am the co-founder of Legacy Builder Group, a holistic coaching and investment firm. I am a licensed behavioral financial advisor. I am a certified mindset coach and a certified flexibility coach, which is why I can do what I just did earlier. Yes. So everything, we'll touch more on that later. So everything I do, it's about one thing, and that is helping you develop the behavior to build your legacy. That ties into family, finance, fitness, and faith. Those are what I call the legacy pillars. When you use those 4 pillars as your foundation, you can truly build a strong foundation and continue to just soar in all the areas that God has for you. So let me kind of really go into when I say developing the behavior to build your legacy. So when I talk about behavior, I'm talking about how you operate based off of how you think. That is something we don't think about enough. It requires self-awareness, self-examination. So understand your operating system. What's coming into it, what's coming out. That's developing that behavior to build your legacy. So, and I want to make sure we are on the same page when I'm talking about legacy, because the biggest mistake that people make about communication is that we think we're having it. So I want to make sure you hear the word legacy all the time. It's constantly thrown out. So what I'm talking about when I say legacy is how other people will experience your existence. That's what legacy is. That's the legacy I'm talking about. So I want you to really think about that. How are people experiencing your existence? That is financial, yes, but it is so much more. It is so much more powerful because money is simply a tool. We know this, yet it doesn't stop us from the programming of striving for it. But that leaves us empty, and Soraya, who spoke in the last panel, we were having that conversation as far as, people retiring and then they feel empty because there was an issue with the focus on what they were actually using money for. So the most powerful question you can ask yourself is, what do you want? I learned to ask myself that, is to understand, what do I want? And when I was able to address that question, everything changed for me. It changed from someone who's as stiff as a board to being able to do a full split and becoming a certified Science of Stretching Flexibility coach. Because I realized health and fitness was important to me, and I wasn't making it part of my values. It changed where my business grew. I was serving the kind of clients I wanted to serve because I knew what I wanted. So it impacted my family, my marriage, my children, my finances, my fitness, and most of all, my faith grew because I understood what I wanted. And I was able to use the tool of money to do that. But what is important, especially as a behavioral financial advisor, what that is a combination of traditional finance, psychology, and neuroscience. So I help people manage their savings and investment behavior. That is the most powerful investment action you can do, because it is investor behavior that hurts us. You will hear, I would say you can go onto Al Gore's internet and find anything you need. You do not need me to sit here and tell you where to invest your money, what to do, how to budget. You can find it. But the conversation no one is having is, how do you increase your financial intelligence? Financial intelligence is the ability to make smart, rational, value-based decisions when you are faced with, make smart, rational, value-based decisions with and about money when you are faced with difficult to deal with emotions and competing emotions. That will be one of the most challenging financial things you can do. So being able to say, oh, I need to make a decision about money when your emotions are on high, and understanding how to control that. There was a study done, Fidelity did the study a few years ago, and they went and they looked at their top earning investment accounts. And they wanted to find out what was the investment behavior, why these accounts were performing so great. And when they contacted the owners of these accounts, they were shocked of what they found. What they found out was that these accounts were performing so well because the owners basically forgot about them. They did nothing with those accounts. They allowed it to move and operate as the market goes up and as the market goes down. And they did not behave in a way that harmed their finances. So that is very important for you to be able to understand here today. I want to make sure that you come from this with that information, and that is, be aware of how you're operating. Be aware of your values. That is the key part of the financial intelligence, and that is making those value-based decisions. But in order to make value-based decisions, you have to know what your values are. And I take people through this process at a values assessment, and I allow them to identify their core values. And I know you've heard this term before, your core values. But understanding how you use your values to make sound, smart, responsible financial decisions is important. And I brought a prop. You know, it's my purse, but it's also my prop. Okay? And, you know, when it comes to using money, because I wanted to make sure you understand this, making value-based decisions comes in different ways. For me, I'm not actually a huge shopper. You know, I mean, I like fashion, I like style, but I'm just intentional about where I put my money. And one of those things for me is community. Community is one of my values. And communities come in different form. It's my Black community, my women community, small business community, American, Trinidadian. All these communities are important to me. So when I needed a black bag, there's a Black female-owned business owner, Tori Sudan. And this bag is wonderful. It's leather. It was produced in the same factory as Chanel in Italy. Quality. Now, one thing I like quality, okay? I mean, I believe in supporting, but I'm not supporting junk. I support quality. So for me to put out several $100s on a bag any day to support, to support Tori, because this ties directly to my community value. This made me feel amazing. This made me feel like I was doing what my money is where it needed to be. There's a difference when you're making value-based decisions, and they're based on your values, you will feel that comfort, that joy in your heart. But when you don't, you'll feel regret. You'll feel shame. You feel guilt. So that's how you can determine, even without knowing your values, because we're doing it every day, we simply don't even realize it. But when we're making value-based decisions, when we are aware of them, then we can make them more consciously, things become clear, and we feel great about how our money is moving and flowing. So I just want to give you that visual, and I want to make sure that that comes out of this conversation today, is helping you to identify the values and helping you to understand that your goal is to raise your financial intelligence, your FQ. And with that, that is a key to building wealth and leaving a lasting legacy.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm so glad because I couldn't see it. I thought it was, and I'm terrible with fashion, but Yves Saint Laurent. Is that right? YSL. So when you said that, so say her name. Look, I'm all trying to do. Say her name again.
Right, Tori Sudan.
Tori Sudan. I said, but that's nice. That's beautiful. So. Thank you for that. I wanted to also take a minute just to thank Lakeisha Bunn again. This is absolutely amazing. I am thoroughly enjoying myself, and just have an opportunity to be around such amazing women. You are killing it. I just want you to know you're being a great host today. So my name is Andrea Jackson. Many people call me AJ. So earlier I said I deal in finances. So I am actually what I like to refer to just as a money coach. I am licensed, but a big thing about what I do is I educate, then I implement. One of the things that I found out personally is that too many people are not educated about money. That's not something that is taught in school. I'm blessed to have an opportunity to be able to teach in school. Sometimes my clients will have me come in and maybe talk to a class or whatever. But it wasn't something that was taught to me. Let me ask if anybody can relate to this. So coming out of high school, sweetie, yes, and I loved your video. So coming out of high school, I started immediately accumulating debt. So going to get the credit cards. Why? Because that's what I saw. I didn't see, my parents didn't talk about money. I don't know if anybody else can relate. You go out to dinner, and I hope we still don't do this. I don't do this with my kids, but my parents did it with me. And the bill would come, and your hand would reach for that bill, and they would slap your hand, and you'd be like, oh. So we talk about the relationship you have. So immediately I had a negative relationship with money. And then when I watched just the things that we would do with credit cards, or my family would do with credit cards, I thought that's what you were supposed to do. So coming straight out of high school, started accumulating credit card debt. By the time I was in my mid-30s, if you can name it, I had it. Bad credit. You ain't gotta say amen, just blink the left eye. Bad credit. I had the repo. The repo is funny. Like, I tell people about the repo. So came out the house, Through all this space, though, went through a divorce. So come out the house, was separated. I'm with my kids. At that time, they were probably, I'm going to say, maybe 8 and 6. So we come out the car, come out the house, and my daughter says, oh, Mommy, the car's gone. Now, I knew I didn't pay the note. And it wasn't going to take too long before they repoed the car. So I said, oh my God, somebody stole the car. Let me get us a ride. This is before Uber, so let me get us a ride so y'all can get to school. And so one of the things I want to say as a point is always have a mentor. Accountability is so key. So I called my mentor. I told her what happened. She said, first of all, stop lying to your kids. You're sowing a seed. I said, well, they don't know what repo is. She said, they don't, but you need to teach them. It's a teachable moment. When you're not responsible, then there are consequences to that. And so, I went back and told her whatever. Now I just laugh about it. But it was funny because immediately I was like, somebody stole the car. And but these are the things, I call it the almost foreclosure. Like anything you can think of happened because I wasn't educated about money. And it wasn't that it was a difficult education, it just wasn't presented. I'm going to show something real quick. If everybody can do like this. It's like a little bit above your head. That's too far. I'm sorry, I was too far. So you got to do this like, when you was a kid and you would play with stuff, so you got to do this. All right, so now I want you to bring it down. So you bring it down kind of slowly, and I want everybody to put it on their chin. Now, if you were to look across the room, most people probably have it on their cheek. And the reason why they have it on their cheek is because people do what you do. They don't do what you say. And so, therefore, as a child, everybody's like, oh, well, I had it on my chin. That's how we start posturing. Like, well, I did it right. Is she giving out brownie points because I did it right? But the thing I try to, just exemplify to people, whatever you observed, what I observed was bad money habits. So I absorbed that. And so in doing that, I was in a hot mess. But this is the second point. Where you start is not indicative of where you're going. It's just where you start. Even when I started in the financial services industry, I still wasn't straight, so to speak. I had a lot of stuff to clean up. But I understood that knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So when I would learn things, I actually applied it. It's not hard to understand how money works, but if you don't understand, you can definitely not apply it. It's like a game. Money is a game. And if you don't know how to play the game, I got any spades players in here? I'm going to make sure I don't be around none of y'all. I'm that person that sit down and want to play but will mess up. I won't renege, but I will mess you up in a minute. But if you don't know how to play the game of spades, HBCU people, you better know how to play spades. But if you don't know how to play the game of spades, it's impossible to win. If you don't know how to play the game of money, it's impossible to win. And the industry that we are in is represented by 90% white males. It is not an industry where we tell little girls, hey, you should get licensed in the financial services industry. You should go and become a broker. See, I worked in corporate for many years. I haven't worked in corporate since 2012. But when I stepped out there, that was the largest faith walk that to date, the biggest faith walk that I've ever had to have. And so I shout out anybody, whether you're starting or you've been in the game for a while, you have good days, you have bad. Like our theme song is, I've had some good days. I've had some hills to climb. You learn that song, like that thing be in you because you won't complain though, because I would not trade a day. The freedom that I'm able to experience, the mindset shift, the way that I'm able to help other people with their fun. When I tell you, I look and I say, God, you are funny. I attend Reed Temple. And I'm over, amen, read in the house, okay, and I'm over the faith and finance ministry, and so they have me go to different places and speak. I run the classes, because everybody wants to be over the faith and finance ministry. It's so funny to me, but I teach classes. That's what I do with the faith and finance ministry. And when I look at God, he puts me in the marriage ministry to talk to them about finances. If you didn't catch it before, I'm divorced. I'm like, God, what? He'll put me in the seniors ministry to talk about money. I'm like, well, God, I ain't there yet, but amen. But I say that to say even the youth ministry. Why? Because it doesn't matter our age, from 8 to 80, we need to understand how money works. And there's always, the principles are very basic. But when I sit down with families, and I not only sit down and I show them how to get out of debt, I show them what to do with the money once they free it up, how to invest, how not to be scared in a market like now. Everything's on sale, man. You need to be dumping money. But folks don't understand, and they get their financial literacy from the news. The news is there for two reasons: to scare you and bring you back. That's it. But it's not to educate, empower, no. And so forums like this are so amazing because you get to, I hope you're networking. You get to be around these amazing women that are doing amazing things, and why not support us? Because that's what other communities do. They support each other, and then the community grows. So with financial literacy, it is steps. Certain things you just need to understand and you need to take care of, because there's wants and there's needs. See, what is your love letter going to look like? And people don't like to talk about life insurance, but my God, that is your last love letter. Is it going to say that your shoes, your cars, and your cell phones were more important? And so what is your investment portfolio? What does that even mean? One of the things that I love about what I'm able to do is I'm able to be me. And I'm able just to talk in my Prince George's County educated self. I don't have to be condescending and talking really big phrases and really big words. And I tell them, but after 19 years of doing this, I know what I'm doing. And you can put me up with any pale whale male. I got you. Because I know this industry. I study my craft. Because I take it seriously that people excel in this area, because it will make or break you, and bad news travels fast. And what I mean by that, when people say things, I totally got what you were saying in regards to funding your business and taking out of your 401k. I know that people do that, but when folks just took money out of their 401k because there was a 0% interest rate and they went and bought a car, what? And they tell themselves, because you're paying yourself back. These are the things that go and proliferate our communities. The thing that's up right now, especially for my young people. Oh my God, this god darn, what is infinite banking, and all it is a spin on a different kind of life insurance policy. But if you don't know, you will go do these things. So I take the education piece so serious, because I won't have people raping my community. I'm very passionate about it. And I don't care if people like me or don't like me. I tell my clients all the time, you won't like me all the time, but you're going to love me when this thing ends. Because I understand my assignment. My mentor had to speak, and somebody asked her, and I'll end with this. Somebody asked her, was she loyal to people? And so I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Clubhouse, but she was on Clubhouse, she was in a room, and a lot of people said, no, I'm not loyal to people. People stab me in the back. They're going to do whatever. So she waited. And when it ended, she said, I need to speak. And she said, let me tell you something. You asked, are you loyal to people? She said, I'm loyal to the assignment. She said, and so when she said that, that thing just resonated in my spirit, because like I said, you have good days, you have bad days, but I'm loyal to the assignment. I'll never know why God gave me this assignment, but I'm loyal to the assignment. I wanted to be on Sesame Street and be an astronaut. He said no. He said, this is what you'll do, and I'll do it to the day I die, no matter how much I make, because I'm loyal to the assignment. For my believers in the house, Christ was loyal to that assignment. He didn't want to get up on that cross, but he took it serious for the salvation and the pardoning of our sins. So as you know, in this entrepreneur space, as you develop and as you get better, just remember the assignment. What was placed on your heart when this thing first started? Who was placed on your heart? Like, why? Who said, why are you even doing this? See, when I look at my daughters and I made promises to them, you better make some promises. And I made promises to them, I can't go back on those. I can't tell them that they can't go to whatever school of their choice. I know I said it's like a pass. I said that was it, but I'm sorry. So I learned, instead of shrinking, I learned how to do this. I would shrink my goals and dreams into my money. And I don't know if y'all can relate, but I used to sell my kids on why King's Dominion was just like Disney World. It was just different. Who cares? It's just Hanna-Barbera. That's Mickey. They the same thing. But that was shrinking the money. I know I got some very posh people in here. Y'all may not understand. My family would hang out, and it was 3 sets. Altogether, it was 9 children. This bring it home for people. So when you go to Six Flags, AKA Wild World, for my old people that's been here for a minute, I be like, that's Wild World. Why y'all going up in there? But when we would go to Six Flags, and you know they have the cup that you can buy, shrinking your goals and dreams to your money, we would literally buy 1 cup. And then the family, it was the kids, it wasn't us. Y'all got to share. You got that cup for an hour, you got it for an hour. Now, my kids was cool. It's only 2 of them. My sister got 4 kids. I'd be like, y'all jacked up. Y'all got to make that work for y'all. But you don't know, and these are the things that you do. I learned how to instead expand my money to accommodate my dreams. And so I applaud every woman in here who's made a decision to figure out how to expand her money to accommodate our dreams. And like I said, thank you again. Thank you for a chance to speak. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate both of you guys. I hope you guys took notes. This, I would say, is the most empowering portion of this program. Financial literacy, as you said, making those changes of making smart risk investments to be able to build on legacy. So I did want to tie in, I was going to do an icebreaker for you guys, but I wanted to tie in this question because both of you kind of spoke to this, is what are some of the cycles from your history that influence your financial setback? Ms. Andrea, I know you kind of talked about one cycle, but also Ms. Marcella, I wanted you to also key in on this note as well. And then I might have a quick note from an audience, just one person that might want to talk about something that they may have faced or, you know, that you're currently going through, that each of these 2 ladies might give you an efficient start to be able to rebuild, okay?
Go this way.
Okay. Well, I mean, we talked about the cycle of just not knowing. So I wasn't educated about money. And so that was huge. So I had to fix that. So that's the question, right? I'm trying to look. So, oh, sorry. Okay, so yeah, and then also mindset, which I hope that's not what you was gonna say. But mindset is very important because how you view money is everything. And the young lady over on this table right here, our young people table, she spoke to, you know, she thinks that, you know, sometimes people judge people at hair salons. And a lot of the times that's mindset. You could probably look across generations and see how we process things differently based on what we were taught. Because believe it or not, why is speaking, I can't remember who said it, my little notes, but why are affirmations so important? Because when we speak something, it creates a thought. A thought creates a belief system. That belief system is going to bring about an action and a result. So if you have a poverty mindset, and you do things like, I buy what I want, not necessarily in any order, like you're going to buy the $700, $800, $900 purse, but not pay your rent and look good. You're going to have the car that looks good, but haven't paid your mortgage in 3 months. If you don't fix this, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You'll lose it all.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. I think for me, it goes back to the financial intelligence and being in control of the emotions. That was important for me because it was something that I saw, whether it was in my family or in my community, of the inability to stop making emotional decisions or running off your impulses, and being able to pause and to understand that, wait a minute, there's something going on in our brain. When we receive information, it goes straight to our amygdala in our brain. And information takes about 12 milliseconds to get to the amygdala. That's your emotion. So that's where it hits first. It takes 44 milliseconds to hit to your prefrontal cortex. That's the rational part of your brain. You have to be able to pause and give yourself time for information to move from the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex. When you don't do that, you continue to go into these cycles of what you're talking about. Your emotion, I want to look good instead of paying my rent or my mortgage. You're making so many decisions based off of your emotion, that amygdala action. So one of the best ways you can break that cycle is to be able to know how to pause. I had that experience. I had a loved one who passed away a few months ago, and it was in Trinidad. And my immediate emotion was, I've got to be there. I have to be at the funeral. And then I paused and I kind of considered everything that was involved in it, because to go to Trinidad, spend $800 for a ticket for 2 days, it's like 8-hour flight. It doesn't make sense. When I go to Trinidad, I spend at least 2 weeks. It's minimum 2 weeks. So it didn't make sense to go by myself. I couldn't bring my family. A lot of it didn't make sense. Yes, I could have spent the money. But when I really thought about some of the financial commitments I had already made, things I wanted to get done for the rest of the year, there was a lot I had already planned out. It was the ability to just pause and say, does this actually make sense? How is this going to change anything? What are the pros and cons? And when I thought it all out, I sat with my family. It was live streamed. We had the ceremony together. Involved. We took part in it together, and I felt at peace at the end, and I felt like I passed the test. I remember telling my husband that. I said, I felt like I passed a test, and that test was just breaking a cycle. So that's what's important for me as far as breaking that cycle, is being able to not respond the way others have responded around me.
Thank you so much, ladies. I want to say those are some great items, definitely on mental. I'm a big mental, some people call me Erykah Badu, but well, just because I am a deep person, and I think that is the lineage to like manifesting and bringing in everything that you want in your life. You can be without a lot and have so much. So I'm going to say that again. You can be without a lot and have so much. And I am definitely a testament to that. Definitely resonating with your story of loss. I've literally faced that so many times in life, but with God, He has shown me that the mindset, once you change that, I don't know, tomorrow, my life could turn around, and it's because my mind changed. It's because God said, okay, well, Camila, this is what I want you to do. When I left my job, I said, okay, God, I have a house, I have all these things going on, I like to travel, and how is that going to happen? And so, long story short, my neighbor is in here, Melissa, and I cried with her in the hallway. She's in the back. Melissa, raise your hand. And she knows, like, my place is my sanctuary. For the portion of us talking about cycles, I didn't grow up in the most easiest environment. I am Caribbean background as well. So my father is accountant. So it's all about the structure and the knowing and getting the education. And I'm very educated. But apart from that, I am a liver, and I'm a product of experience, because sometimes in your stature of lineage, you aren't pushed in a direction that you should go towards, which is your dreams and your passions. You're pushed towards structure. And I think sometimes when we change the dynamic of what is informational and what is best suited for us, as they would say, our fathers or mothers or whomever is your figure, once you push past that point, you'll see how much greater and how much lucrative life turns out to be. And I feel like I take great pride in, like, the people that are closest to me, my friends. I'm a little bit aggressive and territorial with my friends because I want my friends to win. And like I said, I'm 33 years old, but I've been like this since I don't know when. Keisha knows. Like, I came in marketing, I didn't know a dang thing. And I learned it to the T because I want to be the best. I want to know money. I want to know, how do I explain this credit report? Do you know what the R1s are? Or, rotating bills on your account? And I had to be able to develop all that knowledge from the basis of what I learned growing up, my dad, but also applying it to life. I think people lose that part. It's like, there's the lineage part and it's the life part that comes together to be able to build the product. So going back to the P's, the power, presence, and pressure, all of those things show up to delegate what you need to. So I just wanted to, like, kind of loop in everything we touched on for the day. Same thing with Adrian, as we talked about self-love and the no's. So that's what you spoke to as well. And talking about, like, making that decision. No, I can't make it, but unfortunately, but fortunately, I can show up in this way. And that's what we have to do as women. We have to, the balance beam. Again, I know I said this several times, but I'm a Libra. We're the scale. We have to balance, what things are important and what things might be devalued, but valued in the pressure of moving forward. So, I'm filled up. Are we filled up? Okay. And again, I just wanted to give kudos to each and every woman thus far. Up until this point, we do have, a few more segments left, but I really love this part. I didn't want to love accounting and finance, but for some reason, another position I ended up at the tax assessment. I don't know how that happened. Lord, what's going on here? But this is the most valuable part. So thank you so much, ladies. And I'm going to walk you off. Thank you. Can we get applause going?